Greetings. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm your host, Pat Fenner. That's my little picture there on the screen that you're looking at right now. And welcome to 5 mindset upgrades that homeschool moms need to make as they approach the empty homeschool nest years. Now, it's quite a mouthful, but I'm sure by the end of this webinar, you'll understand why it is. So before we get going too far, I just want to let you know there's still time to grab the workbook. I did a workbook for this webinar, and in case you are watching this and haven't gotten, watching this kind of on the fly, you get your copy here. It's at breakthroughhomeschooling.com, webinar 5 workbook. Breakthroughhomeschooling.com, webinar 5 workbook. So while you're, if you're interested in going ahead and downloading and printing that out, let me give you a little bit of background about myself while you're doing that. These are my lovely peeps. That's my husband, Paula, and I, my husband of 35 years. And let's see, my oldest is holding our brand new grandbaby and his wife. And on the other end, flanking them, is our oldest daughter and her husband. And in the middle are our three younger kids. Everyone is taller than I am officially now. Our baby is standing right over me, and she is currently a sophomore in high school. So I've homeschooled 4 of the 5 of them all the way through, and actually just loved homeschooling high school. And these are my favorite people in the entire universe. So that's us. So that's who I'm talking about when I talk about homeschooling, is talking about my people here. So I want to just confirm with you that you're in the right place today. If you are anticipating the next stage of your life with a little hesitation or lack of clarity. And what I mean about the next stage is the after homeschooling years. No matter where you are in your journey, 100% of us, yes, will stop homeschooling at some point, and that is what I consider the next stage of your life. And you might just not really have an idea or have a plan in place. That's okay. But if that's where you are today, you're in the right place. You're also in the right place if you haven't even given your after homeschooling years a smidgen of thought. So you might not only have a lack of clarity or even vision, but you might not even have thought about it, and that's okay too, because sometimes the demands, I do remember the homeschooling years, and especially when you have younger ones around, the day-to-day, what's on your plate can be quite demanding. But you are also in the right place if you know those years are coming, know that stage is coming, and you want to start laying a foundation for those years now. You are in the right place. The beauty of the blueprint is that you can use it. It can be used by moms at any stage in your homeschooling journey. So I do want to tell you, I want to be transparent and let you know that I will be introducing a product, a course actually that I've put together to help homeschool moms actually just rock the next stage of your life, those post-homeschooling years. And I will be talking about that after the webinar. So if you care to stay tuned till the end, I do also have a sweet little bonus for you that I'm happy to offer. Now, why does this matter? Why do I guess I should ask this, why do these upgrades even matter? And this is why they matter. Insert your peeps here. This is, as you can remember, my family picture, but insert your family here, and that will answer the question, why are these upgrades important? Why do they matter? Because you have invested your whole life, in a lot of your efforts and energies into homeschooling over the years, and you at some point will be finished, and you owe it not only to yourself but to your people to make the best of these years too, to be a great example for them and to make them proud as they have made you proud as well. So what I want to ask you right now is, can you imagine those years? Maybe you haven't given them a thought, and that's okay. Let's just step back for a minute. And can you imagine having the confidence and clarity to step into a plan after the homeschooling years are through, and have an idea or have a plan, or even just a course of action, maybe multiple courses of action, you might have a plan B and a plan C that will enable and allow you to move forward and feel significant, feel successful as you have felt through your homeschooling years. That you can just move on to the next stage in your life, knowing that you're where God wants you to be, using the talents and skills and abilities that He's blessed you with, and just fulfilling the mission that He has for you in this stage of your journey. Can you imagine that? Because here's the thing, crushing the next stage of your life is as much about mindset as it is about having a personalized blueprint based on your skills and interests. It all starts with your attitude, hence today's 5 mindset upgrades, and then you move on to build a framework from which you can move forward. So my promise to you in this webinar is that you'll discover 5 simple mindset shifts that will enable you to determine your current skills, talents, and potential, that will help you discover how to craft a unique pathway to achieving a significant second act in life, and that you will clarify your own steps, your own next steps, and have a clear vision about what you'll be doing next. So that is what I promise for you from today's webinar. So the 5 attitude upgrades that you need to make right now in order to craft a future of significance for yourself. Let's just go ahead and dive in. Old mindset number 1. You may be feeling this way or at some point, or maybe even right now. Well, gee, after all this time, after all these years of homeschooling, I don't have any, or at least any new marketable skills. And depending on how long you've been homeschooling, it's very possible that you do feel that way. And that's totally understandable, especially in today's day, technology, how things seem to be changing quicker than we can blink an eye at. It's very possible to feel that way. But I love this quote. This is the upgrade. To quote Marie Forleo, everything is figure-outable. Isn't that just a wonderful attitude? So we're going to adopt that and then say, let me assess the skills I do have and discover how they'll translate to the marketplace. So rather than just feel kind of like Eeyore, poor me, I don't have anything to offer, let's grab that everything's figure-outable and look into ourselves and dig deep and discover how the skills that we do possess and the talents that we do already have, how they'll translate to the marketplace. Old mindset number 2. Well, gee, I really haven't had any hobbies or interests other than homeschooling over the years. How many of you can relate to that? I know, especially if you have young ones or if you have a large family. Who has time for hobbies or interests? I can remember going for years and years when my hobby was reading books on strong-willed children, or crafting curriculum for high schoolers, or how to parent 2 different age levels. I mean, we have 9 years between our second and third, and a total of 16 years between our oldest and youngest. And so we had a busy household. And I had no hobbies other than homeschooling over the years. And that was okay, except when you have moved on and you're ready to retire or have retired from homeschooling, this is the upgrade you have to take. It's time to pull out some tools to get reacquainted with my before homeschooling self. Because I want to tell you, Mama, God He's got plans for you that He created before the beginning of time that don't only include homeschooling. Okay, that while that may have been a mission and definitely a serious call on your life for the time that you were homeschooling, it's not the only one. Okay, so let's get digging back into ourselves. You may have spent some time when you were homeschooling to find out your kids' learning styles. Well, let's pull out some tools and learn about our learning styles and our skills and abilities. All right, old mindset number 3. Well, you don't understand. This was not just a job. This was a calling. How do you move on from that? Okay, and I just mentioned that too in the previous mindset. Many homeschool moms, especially the longer you homeschool, it kind of develops that you see it more and more as a calling and a mission as opposed to just a job. And so how do you move on from that? When you really feel called by God and called that this is what you're supposed to do, what do you do? You know, what's next? The upgrade thought to that is that God has many different calls on our lives over the years. So while it indeed may have been a calling and a mission and a serious calling on your life, maybe it's time for a new one, new calling. And certainly it is if your youngest has graduated or gone to school, or if you're not homeschooling anymore. So it's time to ask about and listen for your next marching orders. Old mindset number 4. Gosh, this is totally uncharted territory for me, and I haven't a clue where to start. I need a mentor at least. Yes, you do. I mean, remember when you first started homeschooling? I remember when I first started homeschooling, I kind of gravitated towards towards moms that had done this for a while. Even if it was just a year. Someone who kind of had worked through some of the struggles I was working through, or whose kids just seemed to be doing well. And you're like, how do you do that? How did you get there? And you just kind of gravitate towards those people because you realize this is uncharted territory. Okay, so over the years, you kind of become that mentor, that Proverbs 31 woman who is the wise older woman. But then when you get to the retirement stage, you realize, this is another area that's uncharted for me, and I'm not sure really how to handle this. So the upgrade is to recognize, yes, that you still need community. You do need community. And so accept the challenge to find people who will support and care about me at this stage of the game. And why I say that this is a challenge, I want to share a story with you that I heard from a homeschooling mom I was interviewing for my book, The Empty Homeschool Nest. And she shared with me, she was one of those homeschool moms who was very proactive. And so she had seen that there was about 2 years left for her to homeschool. Her youngest child was, I guess, a sophomore or junior in high school. And so she started reaching out. She didn't really know what she was going to do, knew she'd have to do something. Started reaching out to homeschool moms that she knew that she'd been friends with, and who had their youngest had graduated and were now empty nesters, or at least empty homeschool nest, and asking them, hey, you got any pearls of wisdom for me? How did you handle it? What things should I look out for? What was difficult for you? What was easy for you? Kind of things like that. Looking for someone to, just give some kind of help, some kind of guidance, some kind of, help her form some kind of vision for her own post-homeschooling years. And I don't remember, she said she sent, 5 or 6 emails out to people. And these were, now, just to remind you, these were people that she knew. Okay, so they weren't just cold calling or Facebook friends that she didn't have any relationship with. And she told me, I thought this was great. I wish I had thought about doing this, when I thought I had some time ahead of me. But I asked her, I said, how many, what kind of information did you get back from people? And she said, I didn't hear back from anyone. Not one person replied to her direct appeal for help, and for some kind of, wisdom or insight into how to handle or what things she should be, looking out for once she was done homeschooling. And this broke my heart, because I know how important community was when I was homeschooling, and it is to many of us. Just look on Facebook, all the homeschooling, groups and pages related to different aspects of homeschooling. We need community. We need to share wisdom that we've gleaned, not to tell people what to do, but to share our experiences and our insight so that others can glean, from that and help them. So we do need community, and that often kind of drops off once you stop homeschooling. So that is something that may be a challenge for us. All right, moving on to mindset number 5. I'm an emotional basket case. What's wrong with me, and what do I do about it? This is another aspect that I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that have said, Pat, I've never heard this talked about or discussed. I've gone to homeschool conferences and conventions over the years, and no one talks about the emotional fallout from homeschooling. And I have to tell you, this one caught me totally unawares as well. And now 2.5 years out from it, I look back on that and see, well, that makes sense, because for 23 years I was with my people, 24/7. We did life together. It was more than before school and after school. It was all day. And so you learn how to deal with each other, and you just get used to doing life with your kids around, and it's wonderful. You really get attached to them, and when they're not there, that's a huge hole in your life. And so I came up with a checklist. I started developing it because I started journaling about the emotions I was going through, and I came up with, I don't know if it was like 15 or 20 emotions that over the course of the first month alone that I had gone through, and realized that this was just part of the process of transitioning from homeschooling to non-homeschooling. And yes, I was an emotional basket case, but yes, it was normal. So the upgrade thought from that is to, rather than consider yourself an emotional basket case, just say, I understand that I'll be going through a myriad of emotions for a while. So I'll use whatever methods or tools I need to work through this all. And there are methods and tools that can help you work through the emotional roller coaster that you feel when you first retire from homeschooling. So I want you, let's pause for a minute. I want you to remember why you're here today. So you're either anticipating the next stage of your life with little hesitation or lack of clarity, or you may not even have given your after homeschooling years a smidgen of thought, or you know that time is coming and you want to start laying a foundation for it now. So these 5 mindset upgrades, no matter what stage you're in the journey, no matter where you are in that in those 3 camps, these 5 mindset upgrades will help you towards being able to handle that next stage. So it seems to me, after hearing these, that you've got a choice here now today. So what will your next step be? You can maintain the status quo, continuing to do the things that fill your days, and just leave the future to, well, like whatever happens. Or you can start a course of action that will move you towards a life of continued significance once your homeschooling years are over, help you find your next mission, your next calling in life. So to that end, I want to introduce the Empty Homeschool Nest Blueprint, or how to design a fulfilling and significant life after the homeschooling years are over. The Empty Homeschool Nest Blueprint is the only program of its kind that helps moms deal holistically with the transitions they face when homeschooling is over. So we talk about the spiritual and emotional, vocational, relational, all those areas with your transition. In addition, it provides tools and support. Remember, we talked about that all-important community to craft a personalized framework from which to move forward. This is an example. This is not the example. This is a shot of the blueprint, the one-page PDF. But so the framework of it serves as a success path. You can use it as an outline of the entire process, and then you can use it to help you track your own progress as you reach the various benchmarks. Now, I do want to emphasize here that this is not necessarily a linear thing, which is why I kind of the ovals are kind of staggered, okay? Because, hey, life's not linear, right? We know that by now. And so there are times that you'll feel you're moving ahead, and then you might back off a little bit, and then you're going ahead again. And so this is just to give you an idea of where you might be in the process as you're transitioning. There is no right or wrong place. So let me outline for you now this is, as I mentioned, this was an 8-week course, an 8-week program. And so we'll have very doable, really, for no matter what stage of homeschooling that you're in, because it was designed, by a homeschool mom. And I know that no matter what stage you're in the journey, your plate is full. Okay, so this is designed to be a very doable program. So module 1, week 1, we do just course housekeeping, talk about the blueprint framework, explain the details of how the course will be presented, what to expect and things like that. Every week, this will be the first week, every week we'll have a live Q&A on Facebook. There will be a private group for the duration of this course that will then you'll have access to forever. Highlights of that week include you get to download and print out the workbook, discover the Blueprint framework, and introduce yourself to the community. So don't forget, that's all important, the community aspect to it, and I really hope that is something that you take advantage of and contribute to. Module 2, week 2, I call design on a napkin. Okay, so just like an initial design of a building or idea may be dreamed up as a sketch on a napkin, in this module you'll begin your own sketch and explore some foundational concepts. So lesson 1 will be finding your value outside of homeschooling and crafting your vision. Really exciting, crucial week for you, and of course the live Q&A on Facebook. Highlights of this week include you're going to discover your value and worth outside of homeschooling, begin to vision cast your life, and then, of course, continue to engage with the community. So you see, I keep mentioning that, throwing that in there. All right, Module 3 is what I call the rough draft. Okay, so Lesson 1 will include a walkthrough of useful personality or skills tests, how to use them. You can have an opportunity to do them for yourself. No need to share any of your results. You share as much or as little as you want to. And then second lesson, what journaling can do for you. So we'll be walking through some of the practical tools that you can use to dig deeper into your interests, skills, gifts, and talents, and begin to brainstorm. And of course, live Q&A on Facebook. Be there. Highlights of this week of this module include that you'll be exploring various personality and skills tests, dig into journaling and get a sweet little gift from me, and then have fun with creative brainstorming. Now, one of the good things, the benefits of the Facebook group is that you'll be able to interact with people and actually have people interact with you in terms of brainstorming. Brainstorming is always so much more fun and a little more effective when it's more than just you doing it. So, feel free to use the group and the community to help you do that. Module 4 is, I call implementation. Now this week, we're going to kind of take a deep breath and pull back a little bit. There are no specific lessons for this week. I know that you have full plates, and so you may be finding yourself feeling like, I can't keep up, this is going too fast. It may not sound like that now, but once you get into it and you realize that many of these assignments and lessons require more than just, sitting through and listening to them and take notes. Then it's time for you to act, okay? Knowledge doesn't do anything without any action, right? So you may be feeling a little overwhelmed and behind it. I don't want that for you. So this Module 4 week, there's no specific lesson. You can use the week to just continue to work on any of the lessons that we've already have. We'll have a Zoom call, although that's not carved in stone. I may do a Facebook Live still for that, but we'll see. But there will be a scheduled call specifically for this week, and where we can all discuss challenges as well as encourage each other. So that's week 4, kind of catch-up week, But week 5, we're going to dive back in and engage the architect. Okay, so I love this week. The architect gives shape and form to concepts and ideas, but in life, shape and form have no meaning without a heart and soul. And so learn how to deal with your heart, with your emotions, and how to continue to feed your soul. And towards that end, this week we'll be dealing with the emotional side of retiring, and then the importance of reading and using strategic books to feed your soul. And of course, say it after me, live Q&A on Facebook. Be there. Highlights of this week: explore the value of counseling as well, and begin your personal reading list. And I'm going to make a special and intentional challenge for those of you who may not have been interacting in the Facebook group to go ahead and at least introduce yourselves. It just really is important, but I know some people take a little while to warm up or don't really want to share too much. But even if you just share a little bit about yourself and maybe one struggle and two wins, something like that. That would be a good goal for you to do in this week. Module 6, I call designer time. Okay, so no matter what you end up doing, no matter what your blueprint looks like by the end of this process, this is the week we start pulling it all together. Okay, so we're going to be working through the Homeschool Mom's Resume Toolkit, and then we're going to be developing the entrepreneur in you. And I have a podcast that I'll be including in this lesson, comparing homeschooling to being an entrepreneur, and I think you'll find that very interesting and maybe enlightening, maybe the first time that you actually thought about this kind of stuff. So highlights of this week, you'll include a rough draft of your resume, and then also the template of a cover letter, as well as a journal entry of potential companies or jobs should you decide that your next step includes some kind of employment outside of the home. Now, if you notice that last bullet, we're going to explore some side hustles. As you explore the concept of entrepreneurship and how it has related to homeschooling, you may decide you want to start your own business or just develop maybe a business that you have started during homeschooling, and there's some stuff to explore there, so that'll be something interesting if you haven't given it a thought, and hopefully something encouraging if you are already in that camp. Module 7, we're in the home stretch. Okay, finishing touches. Okay, now you're ready to start building. Okay, you've got a foundation, a framework, and we're ready to start moving ahead. So with all the tools that you've worked through and information you've gleaned, you're fully equipped to go out and show them your stuff, Mama, and I am so excited for you. This week, we'll be talking about what post-homeschooling self-care looks like, because I know, I've been there. We are notoriously bad at taking care of ourselves, and you can't just flip a switch once homeschooling is over and all of a sudden be a wonderful, take care of yourself wonderfully. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll also have a survey, assessment, and next steps. And of course, our live Q&A on Facebook. Highlights of this week include the next steps cheat sheet, and that will be specific, for you. So there is no right or wrong answers here, and you can share as much as you feel comfortable with, or don't want to share, that's fine. Download and print the Mom's Manifesto, and I strongly encourage you to, once we get here to this week, and once you do that, please pass that on to as many moms as you know, because honestly, I feel like every mom should have this. I have this laminated hanging up in my own office, and it's just really important, no matter what stage we're in, moms. Once you become a mom, you kind of forget about yourself, and the whole point of this blueprint is to help you start focusing on, I don't want anyone to become a navel gazer, okay? That's not the point. But to start focusing on yourself and bringing your skills and gifts and talents to the surface and taking care of yourself. You can do that now, without fear of neglecting your children or guilt. So let's do it. And then, of course, I'll have an end-of-course survey, because I would love to hear your feedback, and look forward to hearing from you about that. So Module 8, again, last week, similar to Module 4, no lessons per se, but we'll have a live Q&A, of course, on Facebook to answer any questions. And then we'll be having like a graduation call so we can all celebrate each other. So by this time, you'll have at least 1 or 2 successes or wins under your belt. And I'm hoping really that everybody is comfortable at this point, at least, to share at least 1 or 2 of them, so that we can all celebrate with you. And I just want to encourage you that no achievement is too small. If you make one little baby step during the course of this 8 weeks, that is awesome, and I want to celebrate that. But of course, I firmly believe you'll do more than 1 or 2 little baby steps. So, as you can see, just looking at this blueprint and looking at the steps and the 8 modules we have, the blueprint builds self-awareness and self-confidence in you, Mom, at a time that you might be kind of feeling a little unsure of yourself. It speaks to the transition. Okay, we talked about that holistic approach, emotionally, socially, intellectually, vocationally, spiritually. So all those areas are, we speak to that, we approach those. It enables you to craft a personalized game plan step by step. So you're not doing what anybody tells you to do. You will have built the self-awareness, built the self-confidence, been able to speak to these transitions, and then use that to personalize your own blueprint, your own plan of what you'll be doing next. Gives you the ability to form a plan B or a plan C if necessary. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You can have an idea of what you believe you'd like to do and what steps or actions you'd like to implement. And if that doesn't work out, hey, that's okay. You know what your skills and interests and talents and abilities are. Well, let's look at this again. Try another thing. It helps you to develop a resilient, positive, and proactive mindset and outlook, which is crucial, and strengthens your ability to be a lifelong learner. And I don't know about you, but I always encouraged my kids that homeschooling was not a 8 to 3, 5 days a week, 180 days a year thing. That learning was life, and I always encouraged them to be lifelong learners. And we kind of did, I guess you could call, year-round homeschooling, because I didn't like to have big breaks, because that kind of moved learning into a separate camp. So now we're helping you, Mom, and just think of the example that you're going to be for your kids about lifelong learning, because you're doing this now. I mean, I think that's just awesome. All right, as you can imagine now, there is a cost to the blueprint, to the 8 weeks here, and I'm just outlining. I want to just be transparent, laying all this out here for you. The program itself is valued at $250 for the 8 weeks of materials, including the workbook at $50, the access to the Facebook Lives, forever access to the group and all recordings, also live attendance to 2 online meetups, and those I will be sending you links to the recordings, so you will always be able to access them. If you just need a refresher or have questions and need to go back over some material, or just need some more encouragement, and just remember how encouraged you felt with that group, so that you'll have that. And then a bonus is the print copy that I will be sending you of the Empty Homeschool Nest book and journal. And the total of that is estimated at $500, but hold on, because you know that's not what I'll be charging you. Okay, you do know that, right? But it's all wrapped up in my golden guarantee. So if within the first 30 days of the live course, so by the time of our first implementation week, that week 4, if you've completed the work outlined in those, and I think it was 3 modules, not 2, and you don't feel that you're on track to designing a fulfilling future, please reach out to me via email, and I will personally refund your money. And when you sign up, you do get this in writing, and you also get my personal email address. So I want you to feel confident in what you're purchasing. Okay. Your investment options at this point, excuse me, would be we have a single payment of $197 for the program, or you can have 2 monthly payments of $125. Now I do want to address some common questions, and right after that, I also want to share with you the special offer that I have for you if you sit through the whole thing. So we're almost done, but I do want to talk about 4 common questions from people who've already registered, just to kind of, that you might find that you have these questions as well. So basically, who is this course really for? Because I still have, I don't know, insert 1, 5, 10 years left of homeschooling. And that's been a question I've gotten. And I do have to point out that, well, 2 things. First of all, this deals a lot with mindset and easy habits that you can develop over time that will help you with the transition. So, as I pointed out, no matter where you are in your journey, you really are going to be able to implement these steps. But the thing that I also want to bring home is we really don't know how many years you have left. Okay, so you may think you have. For example, my story is that I thought I had 4 years left. When I retired, we had moved to we moved out of state for my husband's work, and about 5 hours from where we used to live. So new state, new community, new church. All my old homeschool buddies, I moved away from them, and long story short, our youngest started attending the public school, and it did do well and is doing well. And I realized after living in denial for much of the summer that yes, my homeschooling years were indeed over. It happened very well because of my denial. It happened quickly. I didn't realize it was coming up. I thought I had 4 more years to prepare. I didn't, and it was a very harsh transition. We don't know what the future is. You can plan on homeschooling, and I hope you do homeschool through the end. You see the end in sight. You're able to prepare, but honestly, you don't know that. So without being, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I am trying to be pragmatic and encourage you to just be able to be flexible and be ready, Another question is, do I really need a course for this? Can I get some of these materials elsewhere? Absolutely. Well, absolutely you can get some of these materials elsewhere, and no, you may not need a course for this. Some of these materials I did develop myself, so you would not be able to get those, and other materials that we use are available. But here's the thing, after all these years of curating programs, materials, books, resources for your kids, this is something that you can sit back and just enjoy. Let me serve you, moms, as you're going through this transition. So you don't have to dig around and look for these materials elsewhere. So you don't have to do trial and error. So you don't feel like you're doing this on your own. And this course, this program will provide you with materials and community that really we all need. And so, yeah, the answer is you might not need a course for this, and you can get some of these materials elsewhere. But I would be honored if you would allow me to serve you through this program. Okay, another question. Right now is not really a good time, and I'll just wait till the next class. And that's fine, because this will be offered twice a year because I put my all into it. So I have cleared my calendar for the 2 times a year, the 2 periods of 8 weeks that I will be offering this. And this is all I do those 8 weeks is I work, support, curate, work with you in this course. So, but here's the thing too, once you have enrolled in the course, in the program, as I do upgrades and improvements and get new material over time, you are automatically grandfathered into those. You don't have to pay any more, you get the updates. But the updates also may incur an increase in price. And so as the course is offered and as it's improved and new and improved and newly edited and all those things, the course cost will be going up as well. So should you decide to purchase it now and then there's a bump in the price, you don't need to worry about that because you're going to get all that material anyway. That's especially good if you believe that you have quite a few years before you're done homeschooling, because as time goes on, you'll get closer and there'll be more information and value for you. And last one is, this seems a bit pricey, $197 for the full value for the course. And well, I think, well, I understand that people's, I don't know your budget, so everybody's budget is different, and what you can afford and what you can't is I have no way of knowing that. But I think when you see the value of what you're getting, as I laid out, and if you think about it over the course of 8 weeks, at full price, this course comes out to the cost of about a specialty coffee, a daily specialty coffee. And it's about, I don't know, $3 to $5, depending on if you're working on it 5 days a week or every day, the weekends included. But I have to ask you, Mom, do you feel that you're worth that? I mean, my answer to that is that you're worth much more than that. But of course, that I don't want to encourage anybody to incur unnecessary debt. But I think that this is the time of your life to invest in yourself. And when you look at the big picture of things, this really isn't a huge investment, but it's a crucial investment for you. So again, this is the outline of what you're getting, the Blueprint program, and then in addition, the workbook, the access to the Facebook Lives, live attendance on the meetups, the bonus print copy of the Empty Homeschool Nest book and journal at a total of $500 value for one single payment of $197 or two payments of $125. So now this is the time you've all been waiting for. This is the special discount for those of you who've stayed to the end, and you can enjoy $50 off your purchase by using this link, breakthroughhomeschooling.com/blueprint50. It's breakthroughhomeschooling.com. Blueprint50 will get you $50 off of your purchase, and that will be right off the top. You don't need any kind of discount code or special code to remember. That's the link that you'd be using. And when you use that link, this is where it will take you. The Empty Homeschool Nest Blueprint, Designing a Fulfilling Life After the Homeschooling Years Are Over. You press that little blue button, Get Started Today, and you are enrolled and good to go. I do want to point out that, I'm sorry about that. I do want to point out that the class itself, the course itself, starts January 6th. The next class starts January 6th of 2020. So I don't know when you'll be seeing this. If you're watching this video after the class has started, the cart will be closing before Christmas. So I get a little bit of break between the holiday, for the holidays. But if you get this, if you're watching this after the cart has closed, the link will take you to a wait list, and so you can enroll in when the next course is offered, which will be in, I believe it's in August of 2020. Okay. So now I want to ask you, can you imagine having the self-confidence to look forward to your post-homeschooling life? Can you imagine, Mom, crafting a game plan to have in place for those years? Being aware enough of your skills and interests to have a plan B or plan C if necessary? Can you imagine developing a mindset and outlook that's resilient and open to promise and potential? Can you imagine being an amazing example to your family of a lifelong learner? And can you imagine absolutely crushing this next stage in your journey? I don't know. I can imagine. I can not only imagine this for you, but I am excited for you that this can be possible for you. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and enroll today. The Empty Homeschool Nest Blueprint. That again is that link to give you the $50 off on your purchase. Design a fulfilling and significant life after the homeschooling years are over. I will be honored to be walking with you through this stage in your journey, and excited for you and to see what that the possibilities and what they may bring for your life. So I want to thank you for your time today, and hope that you have benefited from not only the webinar but trusting that you'll be benefiting also from the blueprint, the program that I've put together, and I really look forward to seeing you in class soon. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and you can either leave them under the comments wherever you're watching this, or you can shoot me an email at help@breakthroughhomeschooling.com, and I will be happy to answer your questions. So until then, I'll see you in class, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.